Welcome to Liverpool fans. Today we've got the latest updates of your beloved club Liverpool. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of breaking news. Let's get started. Liverpool Football Club finds itself drifting into one of the most uncomfortable moments in its modern history. A period defined by uncertainty, internal tension, and an identity crisis that few imagined would arrive so soon after the departure of Jurgen Klopp. What was meant to be the beginning of a fresh era under Arne Slot has instead become a season dominated by inconsistency, doubt, and growing acceptance that the project may already be nearing its end. The pressure surrounding Slot has quietly intensified for weeks, but now it has reached a breaking point. Results have failed to match expectations, performances have lacked authority, and belief inside and outside the club has steadily eroded. Liverpool are no longer losing only to elite opponents. They are dropping points in matches they once controlled with ease. Games against sides like Fulham and Leeds United have become symbols of a wider problem rather than isolated setbacks. Liverpool often look strong for spells, dominate possession, and even take the lead, only to lose grip on the match through hesitation, poor game management, or defensive fragility. This repeated pattern has been impossible to ignore. What concerns the club hierarchy most is not simply the league position, but the absence of a clear trajectory. Under Slot, Liverpool do not appear to be moving forward or backward in a straight line. Instead, they fluctuate wildly from one week to the next. One performance offers hope and reassurance, the next erases it entirely. At a club of Liverpool's stature, that kind of unpredictability is deeply damaging. Titles are not won through flashes of quality alone. They are built on reliability, control, and an unmistakable identity. Those qualities have been missing. Inside the dressing room, the mood is understood to be fragile. Players continue to offer public support, but privately, there are growing doubts. Tactical instructions have at times been unclear, roles have changed too frequently, and the starting 11 has lacked continuity. Senior players, used to the clarity and authority of the Klopp era, are struggling to fully commit to a system that appears reactive rather than dominant. Late substitutions, passive responses to opposition changes, and hesitation in decisive moments have all contributed to a sense that Liverpool are being managed game by game rather than driven by a long-term vision. Defensively, the problems are especially stark. Liverpool concede too easily, particularly in crucial moments. Leads are rarely protected with confidence, and there is an ongoing sense of panic when the opposition applies pressure. These are not merely individual errors. They are structural issues. A top-level manager must instill calm, discipline, and resilience, especially when matches become uncomfortable. Under Slot, Liverpool too often unravel instead of resisting. The supporters have felt it too. Anfield remains passionate, but the atmosphere has changed. Where there was once relentless belief, there is now nervousness. Murmurs of frustration grow louder with every misplaced pass and every late concession. Fans are not demanding perfection, but they are demanding recognition of what Liverpool represents. High intensity, emotional connection, and fearless football are not optional traits at this club. They are the foundation. Many supporters feel that Slot, despite his intelligence and reputation, has not fully grasped the cultural weight of the job. Against this backdrop, the Arsenal match has taken on enormous significance. Internally, it is viewed as a final examination rather than a routine league fixture. Slot has been made aware that the board expects more than just effort. They want control, clarity, and conviction. A narrow defeat accompanied by passive play may not be enough. Liverpool want to see authority on the touchline, tactical decisiveness, and a team that looks prepared rather than hopeful. Anything less will likely confirm what many at the club already fear. Perhaps the most telling sign of Slot's situation is the growing acceptance that his departure may be unavoidable. Reports suggest that the Dutch coach himself has reached a point of realism. He understands the standards of the club, recognizes the direction of momentum, and has privately indicated that if the club decides to act, he will accept the decision without resistance. This is not defiance or denial. It is resignation to the reality of elite football, where time is a luxury rarely afforded when progress stalls. As Slot's position weakens, one figure continues to dominate the conversation, both within the club and among supporters: Jurgen Klopp. His shadow still looms large over Anfield, not because the club is stuck in the past, but because his legacy defined what Liverpool should feel like. Intensity, unity, and belief were non-negotiable under Klopp. Even after his departure, his influence never truly left. Jamie Carragher has once again stepped into the heart of the Mohamed Salah debate, this time offering a prediction that feels less like provocation and more like reluctant acceptance. In his view, Salah's Liverpool story is nearing its natural conclusion, not with bitterness or chaos, but with a carefully planned farewell that reflects the scale of his legacy at Anfield. The former Liverpool defender has never shied away from strong opinions on Salah, and earlier this season, he was among the most vocal critics of the Egyptian after comments that appeared to question the club's loyalty to him. Salah's words, delivered just before he departed for the Africa Cup of Nations, were interpreted by many as a public airing of grievances at a moment when Liverpool were already under pressure. Carragher did not hold back at the time, accusing Salah of deliberately choosing moments of vulnerability to strengthen his own position and apply pressure on the club's ownership. Carragher argued that Salah's rare appearances in post-match mixed zones were never accidental, but calculated. In his view, those comments were not emotional reactions, but strategic moves, designed to resonate with supporters and shift the narrative around his future. He believed Salah had waited for a poor result, when frustration was already boiling, to make his point, even suggesting that the timing risked destabilizing the manager and dressing room further. Yet football has a way of softening positions over time, and Carragher's latest comments reflect a more reflective tone. Rather than questioning Salah's motives, he now speaks about his place in Liverpool's history and the inevitability of his eventual departure. Carragher believes that while Salah will still be a Liverpool player through the remainder of this season, his long-term future lies elsewhere, with the club preparing to sanction his exit once the campaign concludes. According to Carragher, Liverpool simply cannot afford to let Salah leave in January. Injuries, particularly the broken leg suffered by Alexander Isak, have stripped the squad of attacking depth and leadership. In that context, allowing Salah to depart mid-season would be an act of self-sabotage. The club needs his goals, his experience, and his presence, especially as Liverpool's ambitions shift increasingly towards securing Champions League qualification and mounting a serious European run. Carragher suggests that the Africa Cup of Nations has come at an opportune moment, giving all parties space to cool tensions and